Hi guys, it's the Dave at the Soar Pig kitchen. Today we're going to make my take on a Lancashire hot pot, which obviously is lamb stew really with a potato top. So first things first, let's make sure our oven's on. I've set that at 170, and so now I'm just going to scratch some butter off in the pan and start frying off our lamb. It's important that you season the lamb well, so we've got plenty of salt and pepper on it, and then give it a good mix up. I'm actually using mutton today because I got half a sheep from a friend, and I even got the carcass. So what I've done is made my own stock today, which I prefer to do anyway. Taste better. So I'm just going to put the lamb in the pan now to start browning it off. Chop some onions. We're just going to thinly slice them. Going to mince a couple of bits of garlic. Garlic isn't traditionally in a hot pot, it's something I like to add. To be fair, there's not many savoury dinners I don't put garlic in. I love it. You've got a bit of French in me. Turn that lamb. Should get some nice colour on it now. Yeah, it's colouring up nicely. Because it's shoulder, you can get a bit of colour on it without overcooking it really. That's already got some of the nice brown bits off the lamb in the pan as well to help flavour the onions. And whenever you're putting onions into a hot pan, you don't want them to burn, so I would strongly recommend you add just a little bit of salt, which helps the moisture come out. Oi, come here you. Bit of salt helps the moisture come out of the onions. I'm just going to sweat these off a little bit before we add the garlic. Right, I'm going to go back in with the garlic. Back in, put it in for the first time I should say. And just start to sweat that down. And now I've got some different ingredients here that this is traditional. I'm using Henderson's relish, which is like a strong Worcestershire sauce from up north. But this isn't conventional. I like to use a little bit of tomato paste or what do they call it, puree. I think it just gives it a nice flavour. Here's the Henderson sauce, or if you haven't got that, use Worcestershire sauce. I use that because it's gluten free, and my son's coming to eat this with me later, and he's off the wheat at the minute. This is a bit of cider vinegar, which I think just is nice in any stew. It gives a nice sweetness and acidity. So I'm going to mix that all in. And now we need to add our flour. This is gluten-free flour. I can say because my son's eating with me later. I find it's great for thickening sauces and stuff like that. I don't rate it to bake with. It's not really great with pastries. But I do find it's great for thickening the sauce. I'm just going to make sure that flour's all mixed in. So we're going to put the lamb back into the dish, make sure we get all those lovely juices. I'm going to cook it in this pan anyway, so we're not going to mix any of them. So I'm going to now go in with my homemade stock. So this was just simply lamb bones and the trim from the shoulder, and then I put it with carrots, onions, celery, bay leaves and peppercorn. And we're just going to now mix that through and bring that to the boil before we put that in the oven. So I've just got some bay leaves to throw in. We're going to take them out before we put the pie top on because no one wants to hold one of them in the dinner. Okay, so we can now, while that's thickening up, we just want 3 carrots. Let's get a peeler. And we just want to roughly chop 3 carrots. They're not going to go in now, they go in after it's had its first stint in the oven. So the oven's on 170 and we're going to put it in for 30 minutes just for the stew to start coming together. And these carrots are going to go in at that point where we put the carrots in and then put the potatoes on top. Ready for the next stage. Now you can see now the sauce is really starting to thicken, especially where it's come to temperature. So we're just going to give that. So we're now going to transfer this to our casserole dish. There we go. And what we need to do is get some foil on this. And that just wants to go in a preheated oven for 30 minutes. See you in 30 minutes. Okay, so we're going to now use our mandolin to make some potatoes nice and thin for the top. So you've got to watch your fingers with these things. Just nearly lost it then. So you come down. I saw Jeremy Clarkson lose his finger the other day. I laughed my head off. Lose not his finger, the end of it. Now we just want to get the starch out of these. So I'm just putting them in some salted water. And we just want to make sure we get all the starch off them. And so you put a bit of salt in them as well. We've got plenty there. Take the foil off, we're going to use it again so we've not split it. Look at that. Smells amazing. So we just want to get this rosemary out. And the bay leaves. It's thickening nicely. Don't forget it's still going to have an hour and a half in the oven. You can see it's looking lovely. So we're going to add a carrot. So we just want to stir that in. Right, now we need to get our potato on. So we're going to need some salt and pepper here. Because what we're doing is we're making a, just put the potato around like that. Now at this point we want to get some, I've just melted this butter down a bit. Just dab some butter on it. You put a little bit on now, but you also put it when you take it out later. A bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to put another layer on. Get in there, you little suckers. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bit more butter. Salt and pepper on the top. And what I like to do, bit of dried thyme. What we don't want to do here is we don't want the potatoes to start, we want the potatoes to cook, but we don't want the potatoes to start to go golden yet. So it goes back into your oven at 170 and make sure it's nice and tight around the edges. And it needs to go back in the oven now for at least an hour. I always put it in for an hour and a quarter, and then we're ready to then rip the foil off, put a bit some more butter on it, and then 30 minutes on a hot oven to crisp it all up. See you in an hour and 15. So an hour and 15 has passed, and we're now going to take her out and have a look. And as I take her out, I'm going to put the oven on higher. We just want to, I would like to get the oven on now. So as that's starting to heat up, we can then have a look at where this little boy is at. Yeah. So what we now need to do is we're going to pop it back in the oven to crisp that top up. So let's wait for the oven to come up to temperature. And as soon as it does, that's going back in. And it wants a good 35 minutes. And that's going to be absolutely delicious. And what we're going to do then is It's got loads of veg already in it, of course. Well, carrots and onions and potatoes. I like to have at least 5 veg with a dinner, so I'm just going to do some tenderloin broccoli and some garden peas with it, and that is a perfect dinner. Okay, so the oven's now at temperature, so let's slam her in. In she goes. 35 minutes. That's going to be lovely. And in the meantime, I'm just going to steam some broccoli and some garden peas. So when we're ready, see you in 35 minutes. Looking forward to trying it. Okay, so she's been in the old fierce oven of 195 now for 35 minutes. So let's pull her out. She should be nice and crispy on top, bubbling away. Let's have a go. Look at that. Bubbling away. Nobody likes a dry hot pot. That is perfect. We just need to let that rest for a minute or two. I've done some, steamed some tenderloin broccoli and some garden peas. Get it on a plate, and I can't wait to dive in. Okay, so we've let her give a 5-minute rest. So let's get some on the plate. So first and foremost, as I said, I was going to steam some broccoli and peas. So let's get some of that on the plate. It shouldn't need anything. Tender stem. Beautifully steamed. The lamb is so tender. Try some of this potato. Crunchy but melts in your mouth. That is just perfect, just what we wanted. Absolutely a delight. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this. See you next time. Cheers.